This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
After what can only be called a rough launch to their online service, Rockstar is redeeming themselves more and more as the days go by with GTA Online, the free multiplayer addition to Grand Theft Auto V. Within GTA Online, there are enough activities of a massive variety to appease gamers of a spectrum of genres. Though it is still incomplete, it is a triumph for multiplayer gaming and has set the bar at an all-time high for online services everywhere. But not everything about the game has been polished to Rockstar's usual level of luster. Upon firing up the game, gamers begin the arduous task of molding their online criminal persona with what is no doubt the worst character creator of all time. Instead of using a tried-and-true formula of creating characters with a Sims-like interface, using sliders with a combination of presets of customizable facial features, skin tone, hair, and more, players select what their grandparents look like, and therefore what their parents look like, and from there, how closely each player resembles their mother or father. It is confusing, poorly thought out, and even more poorly executed, with each grandparent only taking up about 50 square pixels, and they all look like they've been rejected from claymation commercials. On the upside, no two players in the game will look alike. On the downside, it's needlessly complicated. Grandparents and parents don't play a role in the online game, and everyone is rather ugly and annoyingly mute. After that, players also need to compete with the game's connectivity issues. Though they appear to be mostly resolved at this point, it took several days for us to successfully log into the game for the first time, and after that, we had our character deleted. Twice. Once after making some rather expensive purchases. But at this point in time, while writing this review, the game has gone from crawling to stumbling to running. It is huge, it is fun, and we are wildly addicted. GTA Online puts players in the same open world at the same time as the three main characters from Grand Theft Auto V, and at points, players will interact with most of the major characters from the game. Players' online personas even become selectable characters from the option wheel that appears in the lower right-hand side of the screen, immersing players further into Los Santos. We only wish that the player's online persona could also be used as a gun or a driver for hire in the heist missions of the main game. Players can do just about anything they want in GTA Online. Deathmatch, survival modes, races on the land, in the air, and the sea, play golf, play tennis, throw darts, steal cars, buy apartments, customize vehicles, buy new clothes, take part in large and small-scale missions either alone or with a group of friends or strangers, skydive, and more. It is incredible what has been molded into this compilation of minigames. So much so, the online component alone is worth the asking price of the game. And the more time we put into the online portion of the game, we're beginning to love it more than the core experience, probably because it's a lot more personal. But one does not simply knock over a few stores and then buy the finest cars in the game and then upgrade them to their heart's content. Some serious cash needs to be accrued first, and the best way to get cash is to chain missions together in a group of players. Beyond that, parts to customize your weapons, clothing, and vehicles need to be unlocked either by reaching a certain level or fulfilling any number of other criteria like winning races or killing a set number of other players. When not in a mission or race, players all have to coexist, or not, in the same map. This means that there is almost an eternal deathmatch going on in the streets. It can be incredibly brutal at times, because quite frankly, some gamers can be relentless in their cruelty. There is a passive mode available, however that doesn't prevent gamers from being shot or run over by other gamers. There is a bounty system set in the game, so players can put bounties on one another's heads, or sometimes it is triggered by stealing certain cars from NPCs. Truth be told, it's very fun to have a bounty on your head because it turns the main map into a constant game of digital tag or cat and mouse, and it tests your driving and your shooting abilities to their limits. Of course, this all changes if you have some crew members around. Housing is essential in GTA Online. Players need a safe place to spawn, and a safe place to keep their collection of vehicles. There is a large assortment of apartments to choose from, most with their own multi-car garages. They are a rather expensive venture, and sadly, there is no way to preview an apartment before hitting that purchase button. While many will shoot for the most expensive listed, a moderately priced domain will be more than enough to suit most players' needs. Crews are GTA Online's version of clans. Using Rockstar's social club, crews have their own insignia, ranks, and colors. The game does its best to match you into worlds where other crew members are already playing. Joining and working with a good crew is priceless. There is nothing like having a friend swoop in to help you out of a sticky situation with a stolen police helicopter. Graphically, the game looks okay, but it doesn't look nearly as good as the story mode. But the downgrade in graphics aren't enough to detract from the gameplay. Not by a long shot. The worst part about Grand Theft Auto Online is the other players. While holding up convenience and liquor stores, the game encourages players to shout at the employee behind the counter to hurry up. Since it's simply a program, anything players say into the microphone will speed up the situation. Singing, telling a joke, reciting stick-up lines from popular films and television, it all works as long as there is audio going into the microphone. When that's happening, the holdup can be heard on everyone's headsets and televisions. What players will hear from both adults and children alike is some of the most vile, racist, and homophobic remarks we've ever heard in gaming. Of course, the easy answer is to mute other players, but that task is much more complicated than it needs to be due to a slightly clunky interface and the serious lack of an automatic mute all or a mute all except crew and friends option. While it's not as graphically clean as the story mode, and it's home to the worst character creator of all time, GTA Online is still one of the greatest online experiences we've ever had. There's enough single-player and cooperative mission content inside for fans who are a bit shy of the multiplayer scene, and there's plenty of carnage and blood to bathe in for those who live for the fight. Combined with the stellar story mode of Grand Theft Auto V, makes this disc a must-buy for the generation. It goes without saying that GTA V easily gets an Elder's Choice Award.